And there we are. Hi, all. Hello, hello, hello. I think I might have to change my mic a little bit unless you can hear me. It's going to be an interesting night. Welcome, all. Oh, my goodness. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome to Awakening the Body DEVA through the element of air. We're elemental energies. My name is Chirstos Blossom, Marguerite. If you don't know me, I'm an energy geek and a channel for Divine Source, Chirstos Blossom energies, and do a lot of energy work one-on-one. I work with group sessions. Speaking of group sessions, there'll be an element of air, Awakening the Body DEVA group session tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. It's a little tricky to have a secondary device, so I'm kind of curious if I'm showing up anywhere. I had a timer going. It didn't look like it was happening. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if I'm being broadcast anywhere. I don't know. I don't really know, but I am going to dive into things pretty soon. It's interesting here. Can you see all my lights? It has me looking kind of like kind of washed out, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. That makes me really happy. And if you know what that is, you get a prize. All right. So I'm just going to check my secondary devices just to make sure I'm up somewhere and that I can be heard. So let's check out the skin. Oh, yep. I'm live there. Or it says I'm going live in 2 minutes there. It must be a time delay. I'm not really sure what's happening. Interesting that. So this way, because it's not always easy for me to see comments, I'm live streaming a couple of different places at once. That's going to happen every other Sunday night as we work our way through all the elements. I'll be broadcasting a couple of different places, just 2 places this time. Broadcasting to YouTube, a group channel, Evolve Within Love, as well as Soulful Connections, which is Lauren Enterfermo's group. Lauren Enterfermo of Divine Design Academy and Soulful Transformations. Let me turn the volume down there and we'll see what's happening. I think there's just maybe a 2-minute delay between things, which means the comments will be on a 2-minute delay. Anyway, so welcome replay watchers. Mostly this is for replay watchers. You'll get like the bam from go to done. You'll get all the different things happening. I would love to play music in the background. I don't know if my audio can handle that. Actually, I'm going to turn this up to see if there's any audio there. Nah, maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. Hard to say. It's odd with different things. Well, just, oh, I know what it is. It's going live in Facebook in 15 seconds because I put it on a timer. Anyway, replay watchers, I may say a lot of the same things over and over again just to catch everybody up on the different platforms. I'm still learning some of this tech. It's interesting how together I'm looking. So let me just make sure it's happening there and that everything's happening. I'm not sure why it's not starting. Yeah. Interesting. Maybe I'll just keep going. And see what happens. I'm not hugely obsessed with tech, but ultimately everything's a conversation between you and the divine. This I know. And so divine source energies, let this connection happen. Let's see. Let me go to Soulful Connections again and see if this is actually broadcasting there. I don't know why it's not. Let me check and see. Nope, it says I'm live. It says I'm live. So you know what? I'm just going to trust it, and I'm just going to keep talking and come what may, and let things be what they are. And perhaps this will be primarily for replay. There's a slight disappointment there, because part of why I enjoy doing lives has everything to do with the air element. I love the connectedness. I love chatting with people in the feed. I love seeing what's going on. I love the connection. I simply love the connection. It does something, it enlivens things. Some of the positive qualities, the freeness of air has to do, when it is manifest in terms of human interaction, it has to do with communication. It has to do with ease of communication. It has to do with connectivity, which is interesting too, because perhaps there's some kind of thwarty activity here. If the air element is thwarted, conversation, connectivity will be stilted, will be shifted in some way. I at least know that I'm alive, that I'm live and evolved within love. I don't know. We'll see if other things are happening here. I'm just gonna try it one more time. Just to, some of the reason why is because people usually comment in the feed. So if they're not commenting in the feed, then it may actually not be happening. All right. I'm gonna try this one more time and see. Oh my gosh. It says that I'm starting 12 times. I have no idea what's going on with the tech. I have no idea what's going on with the tech. So I'm going to make a little post there and ask for people to join me on YouTube. I'm just going to write, apologies for the tech. Join me on YouTube. It's so ironic that the primary positive quality of air, other than felicity and clarity, coming straight from the ether element, the first element in, the most subtle element, has to do with communication. Okay. All right, I just want to clean that up and do that. Okay. I have no idea. I have no idea what's happening. So I'm going to keep, in just a minute, I'm going to, I'm just going to keep going. It's going to take me a second. It's going to take, it's so strange. It's so strange. It's so strange. I mean, this may be a sign that these sessions don't happen here. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm gonna X out Facebook. I'm gonna remove it. All right. And then I'm gonna add it. All right, let's see. Let's see if that makes any difference, because my peeps are all on SC. That's all I have to say. My peeps are on SC. So let's see if I still don't see me there. So, all right. Okay, I'm just going to keep going and have my conversation with Divine Source Energy and see if that's the way it needs to be. That's the way it needs to be. And I'll repost it there if it's a no-go. We'll just see how it goes. So I had a bunch of notes with the element of air, and I've really been primarily today, all week, I've been noticing it, and I've been noticing the connectivity with what's happening astrologically in terms of the word karma. In fact, when we go into the element of air in terms of the Dakini energies, and if you were with me last time, or you bought the replay healing session on my Podia, for ether, we worked not a little bit, we worked quite a bit in that session with the Buddha Dakini. A little bit with the Daka, which is the divine masculine. The Dakini is the divine feminine. And it was intense. And so for those of you who were there, just the intensity was banana pants, like bananas. I don't even know. Bananas. And so like at one point, the Buddha Dakini was drumming with her feet, was stomping out a dance upon our mental body. It was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal session. I was in part receiving it and channeling it. And so I got great feedback, and hopefully the element of air, we'll see what happens. I'm saying all this because I have been working with the air dakini, and each dakini within Buddhist Tantra has a name, and the dakini for the element of air is karma dakini, which is so interesting. That has so much to do with the astrology. And if you're part of Body of Design, we've been talking about karma. So now karma, and if you're working with us with Body of Design, we'll be working with the flow of karma as well. And that's interesting because the element of air is all about divine flow, the easy flow of things. Think of an easy breeze of things. We'll talk about the thwarted or encumbered aspects in just a minute. For after all, this is a preparation for tomorrow night's session, which happens via Zoom. Yay. Oh, I'm gonna have to put the link there. Hold on just a second, because I have some requests. Okay, at least Claire will be finding me. Okay. So where was I with the air element? Oh, I have so many thoughts coming in, and I'm going to have to make note because already my intuitive stuff is starting to come through. So karma is a Sanskrit, karman is a Sanskrit word that simply means action, effort, action. it also has other more subtle meanings that it can flow into the meanings of destiny as well. Ah, Claire found me. Hey, Claire, I've just been having a conversation with Divine Source Energy, so you may have to do replay. I'm glad that you found me. It's interesting that it's not showing up in Soulful Connections. I'm noting that. So that may be not meant to be. I'm not really sure what that's all about. So moving in. Interesting. I'm getting some hits about that, Claire. I'm getting some hits. I'm just going to let them go. So Karma Dakini is the air elemental Dakini. So when we talk about the realm or the dimension of the Dakinis, we're looking at the draconian level. So that's just a few steps down from angelic and other dimensions there. So what that it can be up to 9th and 10th dimension for the Dakinis and for the draconian, the dragon energy. And yes, there are air dragons. Just please ask Miss Rachel Scheffler. In fact, Rachel, who also broadcasts live on a Soulful Connections group in the book that is Face. She is going to be doing guided meditations as well as myself for each of the elements as we move through them. So look forward to that. She has one on water already. So exciting because that's what we're going to be looking at in a couple of weeks. It's interesting because I think people often think that with the idea of flow, that's a water element. However, it's not, because it's so subtle. Pure being in the flow, in divine flow, is of the element of air. So let's talk about some of the positive mental, emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual attributes of air, the element of air, as we begin to move into it and work through it and on it. We have a sip of water first. Claire Frazee, we're not small potatoes anymore, are we? And if you happen to be catching this on YouTube in the Evolve Within Love group, look for Claire Frazee. She'll be up here pretty soon doing her own form of earth energy shamanic reading magics. She's very magical. Positive qualities have to do with abundance of communication, easy flow, and all-encompassing touch, all-encompassing wisdom. I said touch because in terms of the elements, something that may be surprising for some as well, the sense gate associated with the air element and Karma Dakini is touch, touching, the subtlety of touch. Now, if we go into some of the air elemental signs and we work with the tarot, we begin to look at the suit of swords, and that is mental activity. And certainly within the chakra system, the air element really looks through the heart, but I would move it as far as the throat. Now, when we worked last week with ether, often ether is associated with the throat. I feel air can be associated with the speaking and expression and listening qualities for communication as a primary resonance with it has listening, the ability to listen, to hear. But if you also think of air as being of the heart, and the air and the heart radiating out through the arms, the love expression that moves into the hands, and that can be touch. There we go. There we go. You hear me again. Touch, air, breath, of course. How we primarily experience it in the body as an element is through the breath. We inhale air, we inhale scent, air energy, flow and movement through the air, communication, all encompassing wisdom, all encompassing knowing. In a sense, claircognizance is a part of the intuitive gift of air. When you think of claircognizance as being part of the heart. So I know right now I'm primarily speaking with Claire. So if there are any questions on this, please let me know. And of course, clear air, clarity of thought. I'm just looking through my notes as well. Yes, the quality, not just as of the flow, but also of release. And that's why it's so interesting that it's coming now. We just had the full moon. Now we're in a waxing phase of the moon. But here's the interesting thing. Waxing phase of the moon is release, letting go. It is letting go up until the moon is completely full. Then we're in the waning. We're waning, not waxing. Waxing's the increasing. We're waning. There's something about up until the moon is actually full, there's still opportunity for release. And there's something about the release within air that has to do with completion, the final release, the final exhale, the final completion. Something about action too. Karma Dakini has everything to do with doing, but there's an ease, an effortless doing, an effortless effort, an ease in the doing, a simple, skillful action, not encumbered at all. There's a delight in the knowing, in the delight in the action itself. It is the first of the elements, the first to be born into manifestation. We worked with ether last week, and that had this barely manifest ephemeral quality to it, a vibratory quality within every cell of the beingness. With air, we have the first whoosh, the first inhale, which does have a newness and a birthing quality to it. The first coming to, the first breath of presence. And many of you who know me know that I work quite a bit with breath work, quite a bit with breath and breath work. That has everything to do with finding communion, another air quality, communication, communion, breath with the body. And that's how we begin to find air in the body through different kinds of breathing. The ease of that first breath, the easy, subtle breath. Let's talk a little bit now about the encumbered energies. It's so interesting. The color can be blue. So I have some blues in the background there and a little bit of blue here. All right, I'm simply going off of that and having a little bit more water. I hesitate because I don't always want to spend a lot of time on the thwarted energies or the encumbered energies. However, it's important to make note of them so we can simply have a sense of how they may be showing up in our personalities and in our everyday lives. So, for example, tonight, all week, I've been having this. No questions yet. All right. Thanks, Claire. Different thwarted air activities. Very interesting. For example, tech problems can be a little bit of a fire, a fire activity, but very much an electric air activity. When something's not flowing easily, when there's not good communication, air is thwarted in some way. Hence the weirdness with all the connectivity tonight, lack of connectivity. It can also go into this other kind of energy. And I'll use a couple of examples I've been noticing for myself this week as well. One is this caffeinated kind of spinning, kind of almost an avoidance. And it's happening too fast. You're doing everything at once and everybody has to be at the same pace. And your speech is really quick and it's going really quickly and sort of speed for speed's sake. This sort of speedy spinning of the wheels on caffeine, and in our caffeinated society, speed for speed's sake, and nothing really gets done. There's no real meat or juice to it. This is thwarted air, encumbered air. When it's not flowing, when the flow is not happening well, it can get a little too spinny and a little too speedy, a little too unintelligible at all. Along with the speediness, there can be this sort of sense of harshness. So reflect on this a bit if you know somebody like this, or you on occasion have manifested as this. Now keep in mind here, as we go through the elements, we have all of the elements within us. There are some people that resonate and express one element more predominantly than all the others. And some of us that are very evenly spread through all the elements. But there are different ways that the air energy can come up as well. Along with the speediness, think of it in terms of morning routine, and right away your brain starts and you already know what's on the agenda for the day, and you have no time to waste. So you've already been in that mental space. The heart has shut down a little. You're not going with the flow, you're manipulating, you're controlling the flow. Everything has to go according to plan. If you've got kids, they have to be on time in a certain um, timely manner. They have to do this and that, and the partner and everybody. And so it gets a little bit, I'm not going to go into the super speedy, but at this point you can see the energy. It starts spinning. You gulp down an espresso or two, a double espresso or quad, and you keep going quickly. Hey, I have another friend here, Miss Alyssa Helfrey, who also posts here on occasion. Really speedy. So your mind is already going. You already have your quad shot. Everybody has to get organized. You're on a schedule, overscheduled, and trying to control everybody. And you're trying to fly out the door. And like at the same time as you're shoving all your belongings into your briefcase or your backpack, things are flying all over. There's a certain amount of chaos in the wake. And nothing is really done well. There's no flow. In fact, the morning may have gone more smoothly, efficiently, and quickly if you had just calmed down, paid attention to breathing, the air element, and stayed in the heart and in the flow, instead of trying to control and trying to go fast for fast's sake and speed for speed's sake. That is thwarted air. One way of having thwarted air. Another way it manifests, and another way it's resonant. And so apropos for this week, I think about Olympiads. It's the delayed Olympics, the 2020 Olympics happening now. And my mother's obsessed with them and she's watching them all the time. So there's a thwart in terms of ambition. There's healthy ambition where you're in the flow. And usually when you're a high-level athlete, you have some control over that. There's also this thwarted, encumbered air element ambition that feels like a harshness, that it also includes a kind of insecurity that breeds jealousy and envy, a competitiveness in the ambition, that sharp, hard sword energy. No room for heart, no time for anything except what is true in your focused ambition. It gets a little disgusting, like harsh and edgy there. Must be better than everybody else, must not fail, has that competitive edge that has at the root an insecurity. Because if that person, that ambitious, cutthroat person, were to slow down, the heartache would be intolerable. The breath of emptiness in the present moment would be intolerable. That is what's requested, and yet, because that's not tolerable, it goes to the next thing and the next thing, which is another quality. Serial daters going to the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing and never stopping. We are a caffeinated society. Here on the East Coast, we have a chain, a donut. It used to be donuts, and now it's mostly coffee, called Dunkin' Donuts. And I believe it shortened it to just Dunkin'. And one of their slogans is, "The world runs on Dunkin'. The world runs on coffee." True this, true that. That kind of scattered, the delightful flow energy can become scattered and scatterbrained and moving from one thing to the next to the next. which would be the third type of thwarted personality energy. So we went through the overly forceful, ambitious energy. We went through the speedy mom in the morning where everything is chaotic. We went through the person who's a little bit flighty from here to there to there to there and never really deciding on one thing, because the decision would come from pure mind and pure air. And what air requests of you is that you slow down and breathe. Feel the air. Feel the sense gate associated with the element of air, and breathe the air. Feel through the heart. By doing this, you step into the effortless flow of the air element. Make a sense? Do you see you in any part of this? Let me see if there's anything I wanted to add. No, I think that's about it. So let's end on one more note of positive. When we think about the positive, calm flow of air, think of that cool breeze on a summer day. Think of a person embodying that refreshing quality of a cool breeze. Breathing with what is. Breathing with radical acceptance, all-encompassing awareness of what is. All-encompassing wisdom. A sort of kind, giggly delightfulness in their generosity. Not a need. What do I want to say there? An ease with sharing, an ease with connecting with others, an ease with speaking and sharing a gentle hug, walking easily, not running, simply and easily walking. An allowance of the activity of the mind to simply flow. It is associated with qualities of mind, but a mind state in a restful, easy position. In that restful, easy position, there is, above all things, flow. What I will end with is the one quality, which is why you may notice that I resonate strongly with the element of air. Movement is associated, of course, with the element of air, the pure, skillful simplicity of moving. Action, after all, doing. Karma dakini, action dakini. Movement. The dancing dakini is, after all, of the air element. All dakinis dance. This air dakini dances with delight and flow and movement. I've been talking for quite a while, and I do want to end here. So, this is the introduction to these qualities of the air element. I did want to mention one thing. The name of this series is Awakening the Body DEVA. To be clear, the body DEVA is the alive consciousness of the body. For about 30 plus years now, if you're in the dance field or somatic psychology or the somatics field, we call it the soma, or the body mind. The body deva incorporates something that I feel is all encompassing and an embodied spirituality. And so when we talk about awakening the body deva, we're speaking of awakening spiritual consciousness within the body. Yes, and it's all the rage these days to do thusly when we talk about gridding the body from the above space and the below space. We are in essence using a technique to awaken the body deva, the consciousness, the living consciousness of the body. What I wanted to mention, the person that I first heard this phrase from and with, is a woman named Mary Mueller Schutan. Let me show you her book. Ooh, can we see this? Yes. The Body Deva. The Body Deva. So she works with, she's a shaman. So when I came upon her, my ears perked up and I was like, oh, I love this. And I filed it away. So now how she works with it is quite a bit differently. She works with it, of course, in a shamanic approach and with shamanic um, techniques. So she works quite a bit more with shadow. And there, of course, when shadow, there's an element of body psychology, I would say. Highly recommend the book. Lots of beautiful techniques. She's very generous. Of course, you can see where I've bookmarked a few. So I did want to mention her and give a heads up to her. I'm looking at some comments now. So tomorrow evening, right now, the session, meaning that as we move throughout the summer, the times may change, but I will check in with people as I do this. Yeah, air signs, definitely. Tomorrow evening, we will be doing the Zoom group healing session on this theme. The Zoom group healing session, you can book through loveevolveenergy.com. I believe the link is posted. I'm moving some energy here. So that is a closed group, of course, as my group healing sessions are. It's a very small group. I have only 3 people right now. It was interesting last time when I did ether, how perfect. Everybody who signed up was not able to attend the Zoom live. So that is to say, you don't need to be live with me on the Zoom. You can book the session, and once you book it, of course, the energy begins. As you book it, that lets me know that the group energy healing that the guides will be doing includes you. You do not have to be present time-wise during that Zoom. If you purchase the Zoom session, you will be sent the link along with everybody else so that you can review it or do whatever you like with it. However, for those of you who are seeing this a couple of years in the future, no worries. The group healing session on this theme, Awakening the Body Deva through the element of air, is available for purchase for 18 beautiful clams on my Podia site. The day is tomorrow, which is the 26th. It's at 9 p.m. You can register it for You can register for it on my website. The link is there. Loveevolveenergy.com. That is changing. It's so interesting. That will be changing my branding and my marketing and who I am. Is it on here somewhere? It's not. How interesting. Because it's on some of my new marketing. Oh my goodness. So tomorrow night, we'll be doing a group healing session with the element of air. I'm profoundly excited. There's a part of me that always gets kind of thwarted air about doing them, where I feel like I have to do something, when really I've already done it. That's another thing that would be wonderful to note with this. It is done. It is done. It is done. As we repeat that at the end of our spells, at the end of our energy sessions, our affirmations, that is an expression of air. That is a release completed, a completion energy. Release, completion is air. Squirrel, another air energy. I can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, so, oh yeah, I always get a little like I have to do something, but really I've already done it. So much of the sessions, I mean, other than my research and stuff I've already been studying since before, for a decade now, through the elements, it's already in me. So that's already online. The sessions, if you did the last session, you know what I'm talking about. They are channeled. The most phenomenal and surprising things happen. So interesting. So note taken, Christine. So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. I believe all the links I already spoke about. They're also there. Let me see. I think I spoke about everything I wanted to speak about. What the session entails is, because it's a group, we may go a little bit longer. If people are live, we'll have some chat and it will go close to 90 minutes. Otherwise, it's about an hour long. The first half, other than the introductions, hopefully people have already seen this because I don't talk too much. The assumption is, and the suggestion is, that people have seen this or listened to this in some way. The first bit is a guided meditation that's exploratory, so that you can explore how the air element shows up for you through the different dimensions. So we start from source and then into Elohim, and then into angelic air, and then into draconian and Dakini air, and then into our archetypes air and humaning air, and then into the elemental forces and Gaia's heart, all through the air element theme. And then we look a little bit at the expressions of air through our sense gates, and then a little bit of movement. Well, perhaps entirely breath and movement, particularly because that's so much an air element. So that's the first part of the group healing session, that guided. And then the second bit is a group energy healing session that I narrate. I narrate so that you receiving, whether it's after the session or during the session can be performing the actions with me on your own, or follow the actions, perhaps something that you already are experiencing, but perhaps move into an offshoot of those. For me, and what's being channeled is a channeled offering of healing techniques within the element of air for the body DEVA awakening. That's specifically what the techniques are, which is why I narrate, why I'm explaining them. And because it looks like there will be a few people live with me on the Zoom. It's not streamed. It's not streamed anyplace else. It's just on that. I may start to look at questions as we're doing the healing session. Because it's being channeled, it's interesting work, right? Sometimes I need to be there, sometimes I don't. It's really interesting. So, that it'll be super fun with people there. We'll see how that goes. If you've done other sessions with me, you know that I narrate some of it. And there's always a Q&A after. This second bit's going to be a little bit more flowy, and I'm really working with everybody's own wisdom and intelligences. Yay! I'll see you tomorrow night too. It's going to be so beautiful. Yeah. So thank you everybody for showing up, and thank you everybody for watching this on replay. Whether you resonate with the air or not, if it's something that doesn't resonate with you or something that you want more of, communication with ease, flow, genuineness, delight, you may look at it. If you're already highly resonant with air, like I am, then this could clean some of that stuff up. So it'll be interesting to see what energies are primarily going to be working with us. I never know until I'm there. Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Have a gorgeous night, and I'll catch you on the flip. Mwah! Thank you.